Hey, what's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? Good people, it's your girl KB. You know what I do and you know why I do it. It's Friday. It is 3:04 in the AM and it's June 30th. Um, I'm reading just for today and it's entitled Maintaining the Foundation. It says, our newly found faith serves as a firm foundation for courage in the future. Our newly found faith serves as a firm foundation for courage in the future. Now, I'm always amazed when recovery books talk about the future, especially when they talk about staying in the moment. Which is it? Um, we can hope for a future, but in the moment, what are you standing on? What are you building your decisions on? I often speak of the gospel, the good news, because that's what the gospel translates to, good news. Is it always good news? Do you have this unrealistic expectation of what God is going to do in your life? And I'm going to say many of us do. We expect all good all the time. And we forget that God is a God of order. We expect to avoid the consequences of our behavior based on prayer. I can sin in free will and pray in leisure. Amen. That's how many of us think. Yeah, it was an epic mess up, but I know I'm forgiven. You cannot abuse grace. After a while, you're going to hear God's southern mama voice. And I say southern mama voice because I don't know if you've ever been chastised by like an old southern mother, an old church mother. Now, if you have, then you know many people do not say sit down. They say sat down, sat down. Yeah, and when you hear sat down, you better sit down. Because the next thing is the serious correction. Amen. So that being said, we have to realize God is going to sit some of us down. Truth. Until you can get some act right, as my mama would say. And act right came in many forms. Act right usually came at the end of some serious correction when she got to the seat of the problem. And I can tell you from experience, God has had to give me some act right on too many occasions to count. I wasn't born preaching. And I still struggle with some of the things that come out of my mouth sometimes. And I want to be perfectly honest about that. It may not be swearing, although, at times that has been my second language. It has. I'm amazed at how many people can't put a sentence together these days without swearing. I'm amazed at how many people think that's socially acceptable. And I blame our society. It's a steady erosion. The more and more things we're allowing in our ear, in our television, or on our television, excuse me. It's just some words, man. And we use them freely. Politicians no longer have decorum and formality. And, I shared earlier in my introduction videos that my friend and I, we discussed God's standards. And I also noted how we adjust them to fit us. You know, and God's standards are not negotiable. You know, they have evolved to modern times. Amen. But they have not changed in the essence. You know, you ever get something that says it's new and improved, and it's not how you remembered it? It doesn't have the same smell, doesn't have the same feel, doesn't have the same touch, you know, or taste, but it's new and improved. No, my palate is familiar with this. And this has not changed. And this sustained my grandmother. And this sustained generations before my grandma. That's how God's standards work. We've just brought them into new package, if you will, you know. But the standard has not changed. The essence has not changed. I remember back in the day, I'm telling my age, there was a perfume, and then there was another product that every woman used, it seemed like. The perfume was White Shoulders. Or, here you go, now I'm really telling my age, Jungle Gardenia. And to this day, I cannot stand the smell of those things, but they were familiar, they were foundational. Amen. And because they were so familiar, everybody was wearing it, and you were overwhelmed by the essence of it. Stay with me. The other product is Jean Nate, or Jean Nate, or Jean Nate. Sorry, Jean Nate is how I heard it really frequently. Was Jean Nate was another fragrance that we have brought into modern times. And like I said, you were overwhelmed with the essence of it. Then it became familiar. Right? You with me? That's how the gospel should be. It should knock you down, then it should pick you up. And by knocking you down, I do mean that literally and figuratively. The gospel should floor you when you look at how you're living in comparison to the standards of God. Then it becomes familiar and you're uplifted by it. You know, as you get older, oh, I remember that fragrance. Oh yeah, that's bringing back memories. So I'm going to pose the question of what's familiar and what are you building on?